Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of GGS. We are about to present evidence to prove that the gunshot that was fired by the Templar's pistol was shot that night when Hatch was killed. So what we're doing here is, I believe, we're presenting the blood samples. There. The proof is here in this file. What might this be? In the course of conducting our investigation of this murder, we discovered several blood traces. Do not trust the Yard's investigation. How typical of an egotistical Japanese. Wow, no. Anyway, we're just being super thorough, okay? We checked the way each blood stain we found reacted to the chemicals and made a note of each of them. And among them is proof of your claim? Precisely. Then the court requests that the defense point it out. Which of these samples indicate who the witnesses shot at the crime scene on the night of the murder? Is it the first one? Because there's a bullet inside there? Yeah. Let's go with that. What on earth is this? It's a photo taken at the pawn shop on the day of the murder. The scene of the crime. This can't be. It's a bullet. I can see a bullet embedded there. Yes, as you can see, the bullet hit the calendar. The date it shows is for April 16th, the precise date of the murder. The murder occurred at 1 a.m. In other words, the gun was fired after midnight, once the date had already changed. It may not be decisive, but is it not proof that the witnesses opened fire at the pawn shop? And it also kind of proves that they probably didn't shoot Hatch either, because the bullet is on the calendar. I like how he's on a freaking crate. Order! Your thoughts, Lord Von Zeeks. He's not gonna break that, is he? If that's the assertion the defense wishes to make, then the prosecution has no objection. Huh? Nope, I spoke too soon. For the impropriety of shattering the Lord's chalice, I beg your indulgence. Yes, these men brazenly broke into that pawn shop on the night of the murder and opened fire on the people who rushed onto the scene as they fled, which makes them loathsome fiends.
Eh? Hold on there, you! If you say that, it's all over!
Didn't you promise not to say that? Isn't that the right to say? Give this torso a piece of your mind!
I have nothing to say. Prosecutor Von Zeeks. Does this mean he anticipated that those brothers' crime would be revealed? Now then, it would seem that I owe that Japanese boy there some thanks. What do you mean? You see, you just proved a certain fact. What fact might that be? It's true that by the time they were arrested, their gun had been fired once. However, if that shot was fired at the aforementioned Mr. Holmes, naturally, it would have been impossible for them to have been the ones who shot the pawn shop owner, Mr. Hatch. Okay, but how did it... Then why did Holmes have surgery? Okay, so if that's the bullet that hit Holmes, then it ricocheted off him and then went up to the calendar somehow? I don't know, I'm really confused here. Naturally, it would have been possible for them... Oh, wait, I already read that. Skip it! In other words, at the very least, these brothers had nothing to do with Mr. Hatch's murder. Yeah, I figured that's where he was gonna go. So that's where he was going with this. What is that?
That's right, we're innocent.
That's right. I reckon so too.
Breaking and entering, attempted robbery, perjury, and attempted murder. Sounds like you two have got quite a laundry list of crimes piling up.
Oh,
Don't be serious, eh?
Now, in regards to the famous detective whose name you just mentioned, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, it seems that he's a regular at the victim's pawn shop. Prosecutor Von Zeeks, what's he planning to say this time? Mr. Holmes has a curious habit of finding joy in tinkering with bizarre contraptions. What do you mean bizarre? Could you please not aim your glare at me? Yeah, he didn't do anything. It seems that he installed devices like this one in the victim's pawn shop. That's Holmesy's automatic crime recording apparatus. That's a mouthful. What on earth? It appears to be a camera. Indeed. There's a small timer built into this camera, apparently. Every 30 minutes, it automatically takes a photo of the inside of the shop. 30 seconds. That's a lot of photo paper to pay for. If robbers break in, the camera will snap their picture. That's how it's supposed to work anyway. Here we have one night's worth of photos taken by this device. If, as you see here, nothing is occurring, as we can see here, nothing is occurring, it consumes film needlessly. It seems to be an awfully wasteful means of preventing crime. These cameras were installed in 2 locations in the victim's shop. On this overhead map, they would be here and here. However, if they indeed take a photo every 30 minutes, what happens if robbers break in between the 30-minute marks? Apparently all you can do is hope that those robbers drag their feet and take more than 30 minutes to commit their crime. In fact, on the night of the crime, the witness's photo does not appear.
ho ho, we knocked out, didn't we, Tully?
Yeah, we at the problems have God on our side.
Confirm this for me, witnesses. What time was it when you broke into the shop?
It was a little past 1 a.m., I think. Right, Tully?
I reckon so. It was about 1 a.m.
Then what sort of scene might this camera have captured? Shortly before you broke into the pawn shop. Oh, wait, I went too fast. He's asking shortly before you broke into the pawn shop. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. By all means, see for yourself. Here. Yeah. It's the defendant. It's Gina Lestrade. As you can see, the defendant already has the pistol trained on the victim. She likely threatened the victim into opening the storeroom door for her. Indeed, that is an incredibly natural conclusion to draw. The court accepts this photo into evidence. Inner shop photo, Gina, captured by the automatic crime reporting apparatus, thought to have been taken just before the murder. No! Jeannie! In other words, there is no one but the defendant who could have killed Mr. Hatch. What? Well, that's great.
Your Honor. This retired soldier has something to say.
Here we go.
What might that be, head juror?
Several years ago, when I took a bullet to the knee in the Battle of Miwand, I received a medal from the general and reluctantly left the army. Well, with a shining military record like mine, a medal is hardly more than a toy, but...
And? What was it that you wanted to say?
A year after my retirement, I continued to do battle on the warfront known as life. Now we 6 comrades in arms meet here, and this old soldier has finally found it, his final resting place.
To put it simply, your decisions are in agreement. That's what you must mean.
Is that true, head juror?
You would not be mistaken in taking it that way. Let me leave it at that.
Please, wait! It's still too early to be drawing
Well, what say you, my battalion, my comrades in arms?
A beautiful handkerchief and a beautiful verdict. That is my preference as a maid.
Just now, the truth has emerged. Yes, and in splendid 3D.
The unforgettable, and yet difficult to recall clearly truth.
The situation is clear. I see no need for further deliberation. I have arrived at this truth with a beep beep beep.
I just can't help feeling sorry for 2 unlucky brothers there.
In that case, the court would like to hear each witness present their thoughts. Now, with a consensus reached, what is your decision?
Guilty all across the board. You know, if this happens in DGS2 where they do that immediately at the start, I think Naruhodō would just be used to it at this point. It's like, okay, just get it over with, let's do it.
It seems that the jurors' votes are indeed unanimous.
Is this photo the definitive evidence that Detective Gregson mentioned?
But there's no way Jeannie shot him.
Yeah, of course she didn't. Your Honor, the defense would like to exercise its right to a final appeal.
Very well. The court grants the defense's request.
I expected as much. So you're going to put up a vain struggle this time as well, are you?
We shall now hear the defense's final appeal. Are you prepared, head juror?
My battalion is already prepared to go to war.
Very well. Now then, jurors, the court orders you to state your reason and basis for your guilty decisions.
Well, alright. I think I have enough time to actually go through and press them when we finish. Probably. Jurors' claims.
You see, all the evidence presented so far indicates the defendant's guilt.
As a maid, it is my duty to dispose of unsightly rubbish as soon as possible. That is all.
If you look at these photos stereoscopically, the truth is obvious, isn't it?
For starters, if I had forgotten, he wouldn't be up and walking about now.
What is this doctor even talking about?
I wish to transmit my thoughts to the entire world.
Mustn't judge person by appearance. Those brothers did nothing wrong.
Okay, the doctor and Dimitri's testimonies are weird.
Indeed, the state of the crime scene as well as all the evidence does indicate the defendant.
Only the victim and the defendant were present in that storeroom, which had been locked from the inside. The victim was holding the murder weapon in her hand, and the witnesses heard that weapon fire.
And most convincingly of all, there's this photo. Having seen the battlefield firsthand, I can tell she's itching to shoot him.
So, in the end, it was Holmes-san's photo that cemented their decision?
Oh, Holmesy, what a mixed blessing. I imagine it will be difficult to dispute such decisive circumstances.
If Gina-san really wasn't the shooter, then there must be some facts here that we haven't seen yet.
Right. Now then, begin the final appeal.
This is gonna be a very interesting appeal. The defense's rebuttal. That's you, isn't it? Gyakuten-san? Soseki-san's boarding house's,
My, what have we here? If it isn't the defense attorney from the other day. What to say? I'm in your debt. For more than one reason.
that unusual incident that occurred at the boarding house and caused you all that trouble. Holmes-san and I cleared it up, didn't we? I feel as though we provided a fair amount of assistance to you at that time. Well, naturally. I'm not saying you should vote not guilty because of that. You're totally telling him to do that.
I can't deny that thanks to you, we found ourselves dodging rumors about our cursed boarding house left and right after that. Not only did we lose both our lodgers, but no one else has expressed any interest in moving in.
Oh, the other guy left? Eh?
I also find myself at a loss for conversation topics when I go to visit my wife, who was stuffed away in solitary confinement. Yes, and all thanks to you.
Right.
Well, naturally. I'm not saying I voted guilty because of that.
You totally voted guilty because of what happened. Yikes. Considering all that, I think Gyakuten-san is paying way too much attention to Juror 2 beside him. Gyakuten! You're still polishing away, I see.
Not a speck of clouding can be permitted. That is the nature of a maid.
What do you mean by unsightly rubbish?
I passed through the East End on my way to shop at the marketplace, and all the city's filth got us there. From pickpockets to beggars to highwaymen.
I'm not sure you should be wording it quite like that.
Then allow me to state it a little more clearly. If I could, I should very much like to give all those alleyways a good scrubbing. However, we're fortunate enough to have a famous detective who cleans up that rubbish for us.
You must be referring to Sherlock Holmes-san, correct?
Yes, I quite enjoy reading during my breaks from work. The Strand magazine, that is. He gives this grimy city a good scrubbing. That detective is like the city's maid.
Holmes-san? A maid?
That is precisely why I have no mercy. How dare that city's filth shoot that marvelous detective?
Those two were the ones who shot Holmes-san, though.
Both parties qualify as the city's filth, so it doesn't matter.
No, it definitely matters.
Very well. In that case, I shall change my statement.
And she's gonna give us a new statement now.
Those brothers deserve the death penalty. How dare trash like them shoot the detective?
Statement? I agree that the witnesses, as the ones who shot Home-san, deserves to be punished, but what we should be focusing on first is the one responsible for the murder of the pawn shop owner, Mr. Hatch.
They are one and the same.
Huh?
Whether it was the thieves or the pickpocket girl, it doesn't change the fact that the one who shot the pawn shop owner was still a piece of the city's scum. That needs to be scrubbed away. That's my feeling on the matter.
I think it's gonna be pretty hard for me to change this maid's mind.
Say, Naruhodō-kun, those two are the ones who shot Meowzy, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's no question about that.
I don't plan on letting them get away unpunished either.
Iris-chan.
I wonder if anything that maid said could be used as ammunition.
Maybe. I better listen to everyone's statements again carefully. Mr. Stereoscope Man, how do you do? What do you mean, if you look at them stereoscopically?
Huh? I don't really know how to explain it, but anyway, even if you just look at them normally, it seems fairly obvious that the pickpocket is about to shoot the victim.
But you can't tell by looking at this picture whether she actually ended up shooting him.
But if you think about it stereoscopically, there's no other possibilities.
By the way, are you a fan of stereoscopes?
Oh, well spotted.
I mean, if it wasn't already obvious. Well, somehow I couldn't help getting the feeling that that was the case.
I can reproduce the two photos in my head in stunning 3D. The mystery, the romance. This is truly the cutting edge of modernity.
Right.
Yes, at this very moment, with this stereoscope, things that shouldn't be visible suddenly become so. It's the latest and greatest discovery.
If only I could use that discovery to see the evidence that I can't see. Oh boy, the doctor. What the heck are you talking about, boy? What's that you keep mumbling about? Something about forgetting or not forgetting?
Pardon me. I'm a surgeon, you see?
A surgeon? I didn't even notice.
Not that surgeons are recognized as proper doctors in this country. I'll have you all know that we surgeons are on the front lines of the medical world.
So then, what was it that you forgot?
Well, to tell the truth, it's a tad embarrassing. But just yesterday, I sliced into a patient's stomach, just as I always do. Just when I thought I was finished, I realized that I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere.
Hey? Don't tell me he...
So you think so too? Don't tell me he... And you're getting a really bad feeling right about now, aren't ya? So I've been thinking about it this whole time, see? I wonder if I might have forgotten my scalpel in the patient's stomach. No, that can't be!
How is this guy not fired from his job?
And, well, that's my embarrassing story.
Depending on the outcome, I can't help feeling that this might not be something you can sum up with the word embarrassing.
Well, it is how it is. The circumstances of this case are already clear. So let me worry about the situation that isn't so clear. I'm sure I made sure. Surely I would have made sure.
That's not good. What do you mean transmit?
You appear to be from the Orient, correct?
Yes, I'm from the Great Japanese Empire.
Formerly, the Eastern nations communicated via letters, and sending those letters by sea would take more than a month. But now...
Ah, yeah. Now there are international telegrams, see? We can send information via electronic signals. There are tens of thousands of miles of cables running through the oceans, connecting the entire world.
Cables in the ocean? What a dizzying thought.
Well now, little miss. You're awfully well informed for someone so young. But the age where we won't even need those cables is swiftly approaching.
Really?
And that's what I mean by transmitting. In the new century, electronic signals will be able to fly through the air. How exciting! No, how mind-numbingly thrilling!
You tapped that telegram. I don't know who you're talking to, though. Right. Your eyes are glinting.
Wireless communication. That is the cutting edge of technology. To suggest that, let's say, a stereoscope, a mere toy, might occupy that position. That's madness, if you'll permit me to say so.
Why are you doing this to the poor stereoscope man? I'm not talking to him yet, so we're just gonna pass over this. That was an attack on someone else's hobby just now, wasn't it? More importantly, why do you believe the defendant to be guilty?
It's simple. There's not a shred of evidence to suggest that she isn't the shooter. There are electronic signals arriving from distant places at this very moment, so we have to make our decisions as quick as a beep beep beep.
Okay, now this guy. You wouldn't happen to be Dmitry Demoglaski-san, wouldn't you? The Russian revolutionary?
Revolutionary?
Yes, indeed. There are such rumors circulating about me.
I like how he's not denying it. Rumors?
If you judge by nothing more than appearance, I am nothing but a bad guy.
Seems like he's aware of it himself.
That's why I am called many things. Revolutionary, murderous fiend, leader.
So then, who are you really?
I came London for sightseeing. I go next to see Crystal Tower.
What is he planning to do at the Crystal Tower? I'm slightly concerned. For some reason, I'm finding that awfully hard to believe.
I am always treated as bad guy. I am hurt inside. That's why. I feel sorry for brothers whose appearances suggest bad guys.
You mean the Templar brothers?
Perhaps they really entered pawn shop, but they did not a single bad thing. That's what I want to say before all else.
The Templar brothers didn't do anything wrong that night? Sounds like. I should start by doing something about that misconception. Say, Iris-chan.
What is it, Naruhodō-kun?
Jurors are selected from among the citizens of the Imperial City of London, right?
They sure are. Pretty cool, huh?
So then, why? Was that Russian tourist who looks suspiciously like a certain revolutionary chosen, I wonder?
That's exactly what I wanted to ask.
Takumi! I think it's supposed to be like a slap joke anyway. That does it for their claims. If I can't get more than half of them to change their votes to not guilty, the trial is over.
Jeannie would never shoot anyone, not in a million years.
I'll find a contradiction in the jurors' claims and pit them against each other. I've got to find something I can use to convince them. And we're gonna give that information in the next video because we are now out of time. So, we will pit 2 jurors in the next video. See you guys then.